My name is Marcus, and I'm going to tell you about the most awkward and misunderstood situation I've ever been in. It involves my wife's best friend, a misunderstanding that almost destroyed my marriage, and a truth that nobody saw coming. My wife Rachel and I had been married for 5 years. We had a good marriage built on trust and honesty. Rachel's best friend since college was a woman named Amanda. They were inseparable, talking on the phone daily, having girls' nights out, the whole 9 yards. Amanda was like family to us. She'd been the maid of honor at our wedding, and I considered her a good friend to. Amanda was going through a rough patch. She'd recently gone through a messy divorce and was struggling financially. When her landlord suddenly sold the building she was living in, she needed a place to stay while she looked for a new apartment. Rachel immediately offered our guest room, and I agreed without hesitation. Amanda was family, and family helps family. The first 2 weeks were fine. Amanda was respectful, helpful around the house, and mostly kept to herself. She was clearly depressed about the divorce, spending a lot of time in her room. Rachel tried to cheer her up with movie nights and cooking her favorite meals, but Amanda remained withdrawn. Then came that Wednesday afternoon that changed everything. I'd left work early because I wasn't feeling well. Some kind of stomach bug was going around the office, and I'd been hit hard. I texted Rachel to let her know I was coming home, but she was in back-to-back meetings and didn't respond immediately. I figured she'd see the message eventually. I got home around 2 p.m. feeling absolutely miserable. All I wanted was to take some medicine and lie down. I opened the front door as quietly as possible, not wanting to disturb Amanda if she was resting. The house was silent. I kicked off my shoes in the entryway and headed toward our bedroom, which was down the hall past the guest room. That's when I heard the sound of soft crying coming from the guest room. The door was slightly ajar. My first instinct was to keep walking and give Amanda her privacy. But the crying intensified, and I heard what sounded like a sob of pain, not just sadness. Something was wrong, Amanda. I called out softly, knocking on the door frame. Are you okay? The crying stopped abruptly. Marcus, what are you doing home? I'm not feeling well. I left work early. Are you all right? You sound like you're in pain. There was a long pause. I need help. But this is so embarrassing. What's wrong? Should I call Rachel? Or 911? No, nothing like that. It's just, God, this is humiliating. Another pause. Can you come in? But please don't freak out. Every alarm bell in my head went off. Don't freak out? What did that mean? But she sounded distressed, and I couldn't just walk away. Okay, I said hesitantly, pushing the door open slowly. What I saw made me freeze in the doorway. Amanda was standing in the middle of the room in her underwear, just a bra and underwear. Her clothes were in a pile on the floor. Her face was red and blotchy from crying, and she was holding her right arm at an odd angle. Please don't make this weirder than it already is, she said quickly, seeing my expression. I need your help. I can't get my shirt back on. What? My brain couldn't process what was happening. Why was my wife's best friend in her underwear asking for my help? I threw my back out, she explained, wincing. I was doing yoga, stupid. I know, and I went into a pose wrong. Something seized up in my lower back, and now I can't raise my right arm above my shoulder without excruciating pain. I managed to get my shirt off before I realized I wouldn't be able to get it back on. I've been stuck like this for 20 minutes, trying to figure out what to do. I stood there, frozen, my mind racing. This was innocent. She needed help. But this was also my wife's best friend, half naked, asking me to help her get dressed. Every instinct told me this was a minefield. Why didn't you call Rachel? I asked, staying firmly in the doorway. My phone's in the living room. I came in here to do yoga and left it charging. By the time I realized I was stuck, I couldn't walk all the way there without severe pain. I was about to try crawling out there when I heard you come home. It made sense. It was logical. But it was also the most uncomfortable situation I'd ever been in. Okay, I said slowly. Can you put on a robe or something first? That's the problem. I can't lift my arm to get it through the sleeve. I've been trying for 20 minutes. Marcus, please. I know this is awkward, but I'm in serious pain, and I just need someone to help me get my shirt on so I can go to urgent care. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. She needed help. She was in pain. This was an emergency situation, not some kind of setup or inappropriate situation. I had to be an adult about this. Okay, tell me what you need me to do. Just help guide my arm through the sleeve. I can do most of it, but I need someone to lift the shirt and support my arm at that one angle where my back spasms. I picked up her shirt from the floor, a simple t-shirt, and approached her carefully, keeping my eyes focused on her face. Amanda was crying again, whether from pain or embarrassment. I couldn't tell. I'm so sorry, she kept saying. This is so humiliating. It's okay. Medical emergency. We're just going to get you dressed and get you help. I held the shirt up and helped guide her left arm through first that one she could mostly manage. Then came the right arm. As soon as she tried to lift it, she let out a sharp gasp of pain. Okay, stop, I said. I'm going to have to support your arm and lift it for you. This is going to be awkward, but just focus on breathing through the pain. I positioned myself slightly behind and to the side of her, reached under her arm to support it at the elbow, and slowly helped lift it while threading the shirt sleeve over it. She was shaking, either from pain or the awkwardness of the situation, and it took several attempts to get the angle right without causing her more pain. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, but was probably only 2 minutes, we got her arm through the sleeve and pulled the shirt down. Thank you, she breathed, tears streaming down her face. God, thank you. I was starting to panic. Can you walk? Should I call an ambulance? No, I can walk. It's just my back. If you can drive me to urgent care, I think they can give me muscle relaxers or something. Let me help you with your pants first. That's when we heard it. The front door opening. Marcus. Honey, I got your text. Are you okay? Rachel's voice called out from the entryway. Amanda and I looked at each other in horror. Rachel was home early. Rachel was about to walk in and find her husband in the guest room with her half-dressed best friend. Rachel, wait. I started to call out, but it was too late. Rachel appeared in the doorway of the guest room. Her eyes went wide. Her mouth fell open. She looked at me, then at Amanda in her underwear with her shirt barely on, then at Amanda's pants on the floor, then back at me. What the hell is going on here? Her voice was ice cold. Rachel, I can explain. I started. I threw my back out. Amanda blurted at the same time. You threw your back out. Rachel repeated slowly, her voice dangerously calm. And that requires my husband to be in here while you're undressed. It's not what it looks like, I said, knowing how cliche and guilty that sounded. Really? Because it looks like my husband is in a bedroom with my half-naked best friend. So please, Marcus, tell me what it actually is. Amanda tried to step forward and winced in pain, grabbing her lower back. Rachel, please, I was doing yoga and hurt my back. I couldn't get my shirt back on. I couldn't reach my phone. Marcus came home early and heard me crying. He was just helping me get dressed so we could go to urgent care. You couldn't wait for me. You had to get my husband to help you dress. You were in meetings. I didn't know when you'd be home. I've been stuck like this for almost half an hour in excruciating pain. Rachel's expression didn't soften. She looked at me with such betrayal in her eyes that it physically hurt. Get out, Marcus. Rachel, get out. I'll take Amanda to urgent care. You and I will talk later. I left the room, my stomach churning and not from the illness anymore. I went to our bedroom and sat on the bed, my head in my hands. This was a nightmare. I'd done nothing wrong. I'd helped someone in need, but it looked terrible. Absolutely terrible. I heard Rachel helping Amanda finish getting dressed. I heard them leave for urgent care. Then the house was silent except for the sound of my own panicked breathing. Rachel didn't come home for hours. She texted me once, "Amanda has a severe muscle spasm." They gave her muscle relaxers and pain meds. I'm staying with her to make sure she's okay. I tried calling. She declined the call. I tried texting an explanation. She read it but didn't respond. That night was one of the longest of my life. Rachel came home after midnight. She went straight to the guest room where Amanda was sleeping off her medication and stayed there. She didn't come to our bedroom at all the next morning. I woke up to find Rachel sitting in the living room, her face puffy from crying. "Rachel, please let me explain properly," I begged. Amanda already explained. Multiple times. She told me everything: the yoga, the injury, being stuck, you coming home early. She showed me her back. The doctor confirmed it's a legitimate injury. Then you believe me. You believe us. Rachel's eyes filled with tears again. I believe that the facts support your story. But Marcus, do you understand how it felt to walk in and see that? Do you understand what went through my mind? I know how it looked. It's not just how it looked. It's that you didn't think. You didn't text me first. You didn't crack the door and help her without going in the room. You didn't suggest she call 911 if it was such an emergency. You just went in there while she was undressed. She was in pain, Rachel. She needed help. I know. And I hate that I'm making you feel guilty for helping someone who needed it. But I also can't shake the image of walking in and seeing my husband with my best friend like that. It's burned into my brain. We sat in silence for a long moment. What can I do? I asked quietly. How do I fix this? I don't know if you can. I believe you. I believe Amanda. I believe it was innocent. But I can't unfeel what I felt in that moment. Amanda emerged from the guest room, moving slowly and carefully. She'd heard us talking. "This is my fault," she said, tears already streaming down her face. I should have just dealt with the pain. I should have crawled to my phone. I should have done literally anything except put Marcus in that position. "No one's at fault," I said, though I wasn't sure I believed it. "Everyone's at fault," Rachel countered. "You for not thinking it through. Amanda for not thinking it through. And me for not being available when you both needed me." The three of us sat there in miserable silence. "I'm going to move out," Amanda finally said. "Today, I'll find a hotel or something. I can't stay here after this. You're injured," Rachel protested. "You can barely walk. I've ruined your marriage." "I'm not staying. You haven't ruined our marriage," I said firmly, looking at Rachel. "Right?" Rachel was quiet for a long moment. "No, you haven't ruined our marriage. But things are going to be different for a while." Amanda did move out that day, despite her injury. Rachel's sister came to help her pack and get settled in a hotel. Rachel and I started couples counseling the following week. It took months to rebuild the trust that had been shaken in that one moment. Rachel couldn't stop seeing that image me in a room with her half-dressed best friend. It didn't matter that it was innocent. It didn't matter that everyone's story matched up. The image was there, and it had planted seeds of doubt that took time to uproot. Amanda and Rachel's friendship was strained too. They still talked, but the easy closeness was gone. Every interaction was colored by the memory of that day, but slowly, gradually, we healed. Therapy helped. Time helped. The fact that Amanda was so genuinely devastated by what had happened helped too. It was clear she'd never wanted to cause problems. A year later, Rachel and I were in a better place than we'd been before the incident. We'd learned to communicate better, to think through potential consequences of our actions, to put each other first even when helping others. And Amanda, she found a great apartment, started dating again, and even got a promotion at work. She and Rachel eventually rebuilt their friendship, though it took time and effort from both of them. But none of us will ever forget that day. The day my wife's friend undressed in front of me, or more accurately, the day I helped my wife's injured friend get dressed and it looked like something completely different. The truth is, sometimes innocent situations can look guilty from the outside. Sometimes helping someone can create problems even when you have the best intentions. And sometimes, the most important thing isn't what actually happened, but how it made the people you love feel. I learned that day that being technically right doesn't mean you handled something the right way. That there's a difference between doing something innocent and doing something wisely. And that trust, once shaken, requires patience and effort to rebuild. My wife's friend did undress in front of me because she'd injured herself and needed help. But the real story isn't about what happened in that room. It's about what happened afterward and how we all had to work to heal from a moment of misunderstanding and hurt feelings. That's the truth. Not scandalous, not exciting, just painfully human and complicated. And honestly, that's harder to deal with than any scandal would have been.